You know I love a good FAFO, and I feel like we're about to witness an absolute whopper. But something in the back of my brain tells me that feckless turd, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, he's got to have a backup plan, right? Because by denying the vote to renew the ACA subsidies, he is inevitably going to cost those healthcare insurance companies billions in profits. So he's got to know that, right? Got to be some other off-ramp for him, because he wouldn't do that if there wasn't some other way that they were going to recoup the funds or something. Let me get into this. Now, just so you know, earlier this summer, I did a bunch of research on kind of healthcare insurance and the ACA, just a little bit about this topic because I was covering it in one of my podcast episodes. So I have the transcript because I was reading through it and I thought there's a lot of really valuable information in here. And considering that this is December 31st, which is technically the last day that these subsidies are supposed to be funded by the government, I thought I would go ahead and share this stuff with you just so you know it. And again, I'm reading from a transcript, so bear with me. So here we go. America's largest health insurers have raked in more than $371 billion with a B, in profits since the passage of the Affordable Care Act. The landmark law passed in 2010 expanded health insurance coverage and helped to reform the healthcare system. While it succeeded in making insurance more affordable, it required insurers to cover pre-existing conditions. It provided tax credits for lower income Americans, and it allowed young adults to remain on their parents' insurance until age 26. But it also made the top insurance providers in America very fucking rich. If you don't remember, in the beginning, there was a mandate which required every single person in America to buy an insurance policy, and the government would subsidize the cost to encourage you to do this. And if you didn't do it, you had to pay an extra fine when you went to do your taxes. You had to prove that you had insurance. That meant that there was like 35 or 40 million more Americans that would have to buy a policy. So the healthcare insurance companies are like ka-ching because they've got all these new customers. What's interesting about this is that's the very first part of the Affordable Care Act that the Republicans in Congress started chipping away at. They believe in personal freedom. You shouldn't be forced to have insurance. Your body, your choice. And so they fought and went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they removed the mandate. But again, so many people wanted to be insured, needed to be insured, that they went ahead and went into the marketplace and bought insurance. Now, I just mentioned huge profits for all of those insurance companies. More than 40% of the net income went to United Healthcare Group, whose annual profits skyrocketed by nearly 400%, as the company now reportedly denies 1 in every 3 medical claims from its policyholders. There's more. Last December, when the CEO of their insurance division, Brian Thompson, was killed by a gunman in New York City, the public reaction was clearly one of surprise, not so much sadness. That is probably why. As American families have seen their premiums rise to nearly $26,000 a year, more than $9 trillion of revenue has flowed into the country's largest health insurance companies, which include United Healthcare Group, Cigna, Kaiser Permanente, Elevance Health, which is the parent company of Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, and CVS Health, which acquired Aetna in 2018. Additionally, an estimated 20 million people, which is nearly 1 in every 12 Americans, now has medical debt, with roughly 3 million people each owing more than $10,000. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau estimates that $88 billion worth of medical debt is reflected on individuals' credit reports. Oh, but wait, there's more. Medical debt contributes to around 2/3 of the U.S. bankruptcies every year, potentially affecting hundreds of thousands of American families. This can happen to those with or without insurance. High deductibles, co-payments, and denied claims can leave many insured Americans with insurmountable medical bills. Some studies show that more than half of those who filed for medical bankruptcy had private insurance. And today's the day. It's about to get much worse for the poorest Americans. The ACA tax credit that I've been mentioning is set to expire as of tonight at midnight, which means an additional 4 million people could become uninsured. The ACA has always provided states with the option to expand Medicaid to help insure their lowest income citizens. The federal government pledges to cover the vast majority of those costs. But to this day, 15 fucking years later, there are still 10 states that have refused Medicaid expansions. If you live in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kansas, Mississippi, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Wisconsin, and Wyoming, yeah, they fucked you. When the Republican-led Congress passed Trump's big, beautiful bullshit fucking bill last summer, they did so, knowing the significant cuts to Medicaid and the changes to the Affordable Care Act would cause 13.7 million more Americans to be uninsured over the next decade. I mean, this seems like the really Christian thing to do is to just fuck over people and let them die of their illnesses. I don't know. But here's what I really need you to know. If you've stuck around this long, you've earned this part. Of the more than 70 million claim denials Americans receive every year from their insurance companies, less than 1% of them ever appeal the decision. You have the right to challenge a denied claim. Yet a 2024 survey found that over half of patients who did not challenge the bill were unaware that they could do so. I'm here to tell you, fucking fight it. You may think it's too much of an administrative burden, or you face systematic barriers, limited resources, or you might believe that nothing will come of it anyway. But let me tell you, you should know that 3/4 of the claim appeals are granted. And in 2024, 54% of denials challenged by providers were eventually overturned and paid. Insurance companies get rich off playing the odds that you will go away quietly. You will never ask why. You will never push back. Their entire mission is to fucking outlast you. You cannot win if you don't fight. Get yourself in the game. Stand up for yourself. Your rates are about to go way up, but every time they deny you, please, for the love of God, fight them. Fight them at every single turn because you've paid for the coverage and you deserve it.